Good evening, everyone. We are continuing on with Proverbs Chapter 3, and today we will try to finish the chapter starting from verse 13. We are starting on a new segment in this chapter itself, and it starts this way. It says, "Happy is the man who finds wisdom, and the man who gains understanding." Understand that this word happy is actually in a noun form. So it's not just an adjective. I think if you go back and if you go and read, let's say, Psalms chapter 1, verse 1, you see the same word. And it technically, it is really happiness. Happiness is the man. The man here would be any person, basically, humanity, who finds, and this is seek to find, wisdom. Remember, it's hokmah, and this is in the feminine. And that is why we have the personification of wisdom as a woman. And then it says, the man who gains understanding, same humanity, same man here. The word gain, I think we could use the word gain basically. It is to obtain. I think that would be a good word, to obtain. And then understanding as well is a parallel with wisdom. Tavuna is very much intelligence. And this is also in the feminine. And so what we do find is you have an A and a B here. And it's really telling the boy and us today, obviously, happy. If you want happiness, then the one who actually finds wisdom and gains understanding. And so the word wisdom and the word understanding is correspondingly referring to the same thing. So wisdom talks about insight of life and ability to provide solutions because of the intelligence, knowledge, and understanding and discernment of life that one has. And so if one has that, and so you have wisdom, all right, and then you have in understanding, it says that you will find happiness. And so if one wants to be happy, then one needs to understand what is wisdom. And in God's mind, wisdom is really a knowledge of how to live right before Him. Now, the comparison is that in the personification of wisdom, which in other words is also known as understanding, it says here, for her proceeds. The word proceeds here would be profits, right? Her profits. This is like in a commerce trade. Her profits is better. And the word better is tov. You've seen this when we were doing Ecclesiastes. And so better than profits of silver. So now we have another word here. Why do we have proceeds as profits? And what does this profit actually mean? This profit actually means produce. It really means the yield, which really means the things that you gain out of whatever you do. So silver is a precious metal. It's normally used with gold as value exchange. And here another one, her gain than fine gold. And so the word gain here, see, from the gain of silver, and then the gain of fine gold, the yield, the gain. of fine gold. And the word gold here is, I guess you could say, um, this would be, well, I guess you can call it fine gold, really good gold, right? Good gold and good silver. And so you find that this is another A and B, and it's in comparison with regards to value. So essentially, Solomon, as he expresses this, says that wisdom and understanding is better than silver and gold. That's basically it. That's where you can be happy. Having silver and gold doesn't make one happy, but having wisdom and understanding does. So she is more precious than rubies, and all the things that you may desire cannot compare with her. This is really a continuation of value. She is more precious. The word precious here is more prized, right? More prized, more rare, essentially valuable, right? Than rubies, and all the things that you may desire. The word desire is chafetz, meaning things that you long for. I guess people in all times really want value, right? They store up value, or what they consider value. And so Solomon is saying, yes, these are all valuable, but it cannot compare with her. The word compare here means they're not level with her. That's literally it, right? Not equivalent. Basically saying silver, gold, precious stones, the things, everything that you like and you place value in, you can't compare to wisdom. That's basically what the text is saying. And then again, you see things about length of days is her right hand, and in her left hand, riches and honor. The word length of days, orek really means a physical length, right? You can measure the measurement of days is in her right hand. Now understand, right hand, you can also note that right hand is a right side. All right. And normally what you find is that the word right hand indicates a stronger side. Now, this is to assume that everyone there is right-hander, and usually your right-hander is more dexterous, it's got more strength, and right hand in the Hebrew context represents strength. And then her left hand, in this case, you find that the left side, right? You've got the right side and you've got the left side, and the left side is not any worse. Her left side is about wealth and honor, right? Respect. And so you find that wisdom has both. Wisdom has both. It's about being able to have power of life, an additional day. These are things that you talk about. This is about the strength of the right hand. And the left hand has wealth as well. And so you find that these are all things of value. Her ways are all of pleasantness, and all the paths are peace. Now, again, you're familiar with ways and paths. These are always in contrast, by the way. And so you have direct, and then path is always, well, in this case, it's nativ. Nativ would be the trodden pathway. Basically, paths, right? Where you actually walk. The first word here, pleasantness, nosam actually means it is beauty. It is about pleasant. And then you kindness. Well, I guess the word here would likely be agreeableness, which is tov, right? And all her paths are peace. And you know what peace is? Peace is shalom. These are descriptions, right? Descriptions of the journey with wisdom. Now, what I think you are trying to see, you're going to see here is that Solomon is using things to take the attention of who he calls my son. He's trying to grab his attention that this is better than all the enticement and the lures and all the seduction of all the bad women out there. This is a good woman, basically. She's a valuable woman, a good companion in the journey of life. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her. Happy are all those who retain her. Let's break this down. Verse 18. She is a tree of life. Who is she? Wisdom. She is giving life. She's a life giver. And those who take hold of her. The word take hold of her is strengthened, right? Strengthened by her. So it's not so much as take hold, but basically to use wisdom as strength, to lean on wisdom, right? And that's the same her. And then happy. The word happy here is asher. And this word is a verb, not a noun. Right? This is a noun. This is a verb. And this verb means to proceed, well, I guess happy, to be level. I think level is good. So let me just briefly explain this to you. If you have done Psalm chapter 1, verse 1, Asher really talks about the Hebrew way of life. So when you walk in the wilderness, and if the wilderness is smooth, right? What we have seen in verses 5 and 6, when God will level the road, make straight your path, basically to help us walk where we have the least obstruction, then that person is happy. That is what Asher means here. Happy are all those who retain her. The word retain here is to, I guess you could say, hold on to her. Hold on to her. Support as well. So the idea here is to have wisdom walking with you in life. Right? That's all it says, walking with you in life. And so wisdom gives life. Wisdom helps you to be happy when you walk. Your journey is smooth. That is what happy is. happy is described as a journey. Happy is not described as a feeling or emotion. So I think by now you should realize that the Hebrew words that is being used in the Bible describes abstract concepts like being happy in very concrete terms. And so that you realize that it is something that you can imagine that you're walking level and you're happy. That's how we understand the words. Now we start another segment. It says, the Lord by Chokmah. Right? This is important. It's always about wisdom, but now it's a different theme about wisdom. He founded, he established. Right? He established. You can also say lay foundation. The word earth here is not our physical earth per se. The word earth is I would say, better expressed as land. All right. And by his understanding, you notice wisdom and understanding has been going hand in hand together, and this would be intelligence. He established. Now, the word established in this case means to be firm, to make stable. Then the word heavens would be shamayim. Shamayim would be skies. And you notice that the Hebrew Bible always talk about heaven and earth. And in the beginning, God made the heaven and earth, right? And here it's also, he founded the earth. He established the heavens. Basically, is to tell us that God has wisdom and intelligence in forming the heavens and the earth. And what we see today is that everything in nature is governed by laws, and these are really made by the wisdom of God. And so you have a group of scientists that calls themselves the intelligent design movement. And like it or not, whether they believe in God or not, they have to admit that the heaven and earth and all that is in it must be made by an intelligent mind. And here we call him Jehovah. And Solomon, the wise, says, God used Chokmah, the wisdom, and his intelligence of how all things work, and he puts all this in place. God is that intelligent mind. By his knowledge, the depths were broken up, the clouds dropped down, the dew. The word broken up is a word split into two. And so you find that the waters of the deep, you find this, I think, in Genesis chapter 1, where it talks about the rakia. And here God says he uses knowledge. The word knowledge here is his perception, right? His discernment. And I hope by now we should realize the word wisdom, understanding, knowledge, they are all synonyms and they are parallels in this text. And clouds drop down the dew. I think you would find that the word clouds I think you can say that this would be mist, would be a good word. Not clouds, mist, right? And the mist drop down the dew. The dew is more like how in Genesis chapter 2, or Genesis chapter 1, the end of Genesis chapter 1, where God watered the land, right? Using the mist that comes out from the ground. And that is what is describing here. Everything in Genesis chapter 1 is all founded on the wisdom of God, on the understanding of God, the knowledge of God. That's basically where we are seeing this. And this is describe who God is. That wisdom is so important, and that's why Solomon is saying, I keep telling you, listen to wisdom. She is better than any other women. And now this is that same wisdom that God is wanting us to have. Verse 21, my son, do not let them depart from your eyes. The word depart here is to turn aside. Do not let them turn aside from your eyes. Now, always understand, eyes is about looking at things, right? And from eyes, you get sight, and from sight, you get perception, knowledge, understanding, and experience. And basically, all of them here would be the wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. And that was what Solomon has been discussing, right? Let them not depart from your eyes. Don't let it slip away. That is your precious thing to keep. So keep sound wisdom and discretion. The word sound wisdom literally means, well, first of all, this word keep is watch over. And the word sound wisdom is about, I would say, well, sound wisdom is a good word, I guess. Effective wisdom. Okay. And then the word discretion here would be purpose. Purpose, plan. And the whole idea here is all of these are tools of life, I guess, okay? And so wisdom and discretion would be also in the same class, an A and a B. That wisdom, understanding, and knowledge are all in the same area. So don't let them turn aside, so that they will be life to your nephesh and grace to your neck. Verse 22 means to be life. To be life, to I guess, to keep you alive. And what would this be? Your nephesh alive. Nephesh is the inside of you. The second word is hen. Grace would be to your throat, right? Not just a neck. And so basically, you find that life and grace is now pitted together, so that you understand that life in itself, described by soul and neck, is that wisdom will support your life. And that would be the meaningful part of life, that you will walk safely in your way and your foot will not stumble. That's the same aspect as an A and a B, right? Safely in your way. Safely in your way in 23 really means to have security, and confidence in your paths, right? In your paths, and in this case, your derech, and your foot will not stumble. And the word stumble here really means to strike something, like hit a rock, right? And then you stumble. So this word stumble gives you an imagery that you stub your toe or you kick something. And so your foot will not be obstructed. And so this is an emphasis that your life's journey will be smooth because you now have lots of answers of life. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. Yes, you will lie down and your sleep will be sweet. Understand this, when you lie down, it is a euphemism, it is a manner of speech. It is an expression. When you sleep, right, you will not be afraid. And the word afraid here is tremble. And when you lie down, this is another word actually, right? Another word. When you lie down, and the first one is sleep. The second one, when you lie down, a second time, and it's now using a different word, your sleep. The word sleep here is really a specific word to talk about sleeping, right? About sleeping. And it says your sleep will be sweet, will be pleasing. Pleasing. Just like the word we had before, right? The word pleasing will be good. And so if you want to have a good night's rest, have wisdom as your company. That's basically what it says. So do not be afraid of sudden terror, nor of trouble from the wicked when it comes. Now understand this. Do not fear. Do not be afraid, but you be afraid of God. Fear God, but do not be afraid of sudden terror. Right? This would be dread. Of any trouble. And the word trouble here really means devastation from the wicked ones. The wicked ones talks about the ones who is guilty, the one who walks away from God. And you know that God is now saying the same thing twice, right? What is being said? Fear God, but do not fear other things. And that's basically what God is saying. If you know wisdom, then you know God. When you know God, it means that you have the fear of the Lord. And you have the fear of the Lord, you should not be afraid of anything else, because the one who you should be most afraid of, you are already afraid of him. Then everything else should pale in comparison. So there is nothing to worry about if you are right with God. And the reason would be, for the Lord will be your confidence. He will keep your foot from being caught. These are just, I would say, poetic way of telling the young man, right? For the Lord will be your confidence. The word confidence also means hope. The Lord will be, I guess, your sense of trust. The one you can trust, the one you can hope in, and he will keep. And the word keep is to guard. And he would guard your foot from being caught. Now, the word caught is to be captured, right? To be captured. I guess when you try to catch a bird, right, you put a noose on the ground, and then when the bird steps into it, you pull the noose, and that's the idea of caught. That your foot is not going to be caught in a noose. And so when God is our confidence and we know God and we fear God, then God is also in action, in partnership in our journey. And that's what he's saying. And with wisdom, you would know how to walk properly. Now, it's not about saying that God will supernaturally put a force shield and some magnetic field around your foot. It is very much telling you that if you really have confidence in God and you fear him and you have this wisdom and she is with you, guarding you and walking with you in this journey, you won't be tripped. You won't be enticed. That is what the verse is trying to say. Now in verse 27, talks about social justice. Social justice is not a big thing to us today, but social justice is an absolutely big thing in God's mind towards Israel. The principle is this: God takes care of those who obey him, and those who obey him needs to take care of the weak, the poor, the needy, the orphan, the widow, and the ones who cannot take care of themselves. And so that's how God deals with his people. So he says, do not withhold good from those whom it is due, when it is in the power of your hand to do it, basically. And so the word withhold means to keep back. Meaning you can do it, but you are restraining yourself. And God says, you should not do that. What does good actually mean? Well, good is tov. Remember, tov is agreeable in the eyes of the beholder. And in the eyes of the beholder, there is a certain perception. And this person, the son who has the ability, then he is not to withhold good. And then it says here, from those whom it is due. I think the word here would be this would actually talk about the masters, from those who is due, who is owing, and who are masters. This is the plural word. It's Baal in the plural, right? And so when the masters are there, then they are not to hold back when it is due to them. When you have to give, you must give. When it is in the power, and the word power is El, and this would be might. You know, the word El is God, and that is the word here, El. When it is in the L of your hand, right, to do. So if it's in your power, in your L, and your hand is God, right, in this case, your hand has the power to do so, the strength to do it, you must do it. Now, this is for those who are in power. Do not say to your neighbor, go, come back, and tomorrow I will give it when you have it with you. Notice, this is very clearly one chunk and then one chunk. And so we can say this is an A and this is a B. Do not say to your neighbor, and the word neighbor here is your fellow, your friend, right? And it's not any stranger. This is a fellow man. That's why he's called a neighbor. And don't tell him to go away. That's what it says. Go away, then you come back or return. You shuv. Return here tomorrow. And I will give. And the word give is to allow him to have it. When you have it with you, and this word, when with you, notice these are supplied by the translators. It means that when the ability is in existence. And so this is more of the literal way. So when the ability is in existence, do not tell them to come back. You must fulfill as promised. 29. Do not devise evil against your neighbor, for he dwells by you for safety's sake. Then do not strive with a man without cause if he has done you no harm. Now, this again is an A and a B. So do not devise. The word devise here actually talks about, how should we say? This is something that you are planning to do. Okay, I think this would be an easier way of describing. Devise means plan to do. So do not plan to do evil. Now the word evil is ra'ah. And the reason is ra'ah is opposite of tov, is that evil is what is disagreeable in the eyes of the beholder. And so this neighbor is your fellow man. And so don't do anything that he would consider bad, because he is dwelling with you. The word dwell here is to sit. So it's correct to say he remains by you. All right. And it says for safety's sake, because he trusts you. And so do not be unfaithful or untrustworthy. Verse 30. Do not contend. Don't argue with a man. Well, it says here without cause. And I think it is right. Without cause is a good word. And you should think of it also, our common day word would be don't fight with a man unnecessarily. Now, this would be a more contemporary way. For nothing. Don't look for a fight. And then it says, if. And the word if is conditional, right? It's conditional. If that person has not done you, the word done is, it really means he has not recompensed. He has not recompensed you with evil, with ra or ra'ah, right? Now, in this case, evil would be in our side. When we disagree, it will be evil to us. And so this is the case. Don't strive with a man without cause. Don't plan evil against your fellow man. You see that? He is living by you where he is trusting you. And so do not contend, don't fight with a man unnecessarily right here if he has not done you any evil. And so the idea here is treat fairly, that you are not the cause of evil. Do not envy the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Now in verse 31, the word envy here is really the word kana. And this one means that the word oppressor is the man, a violent man, an unjust man. He does injustice, right? So do not envy means don't go and don't protect. Don't protect the one who is unjust. Don't protect the one who practices injustice. And then it says, and choose none of his ways. And so the idea here is you should choose none of his ways. You should choose away from him. And so this one means to stay away as an emphasis, right? Stay away. For the perverse is an abomination to the Lord, but his secret counsel is with the upright. Now, look at this. A perverse, the word perverse is one who turns aside. This person who turns aside is an abomination of God. Abomination means disgusting. He is one that God is feeling sick about. God's secret counsel. Now, this word secret counsel is, I would say, maybe not secret in that sense, but you could say confidential, right? Confidential, confidential ideas, advice is with those who are right. Right means in the right path. It also means not going away, not walking away. And this would be the opposite, right? You got an A and A prime. And so you said, God doesn't want the man who is perverse, who walks away. God wants somebody who is walking in the right path. And so God will then give him knowledge of God. The curse of the Lord is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the home of the just. So these are all contrasts, right? An A and an A prime. And so the curse of the Lord, and the word curse, please do not read the English meaning of curse. The Hebrew meaning of curse really is to say something not nice, right? To say something not nice. And in the Oriental sense, you spit in the ground. It's like, tui, you know? And this would be imprecation, you know. The Chinese loves to do this, I guess. And the Chinese has this habit of cursing people in very poetic way, but it is nevertheless a curse. You say bad things and wish bad things to come upon the other party. And so God is saying, well, he is not wishing because he can do it, but the curse of God is always in the house of the wicked. Understand, the house of the wicked are those who walk away from God. So this you can tell who is God happy with and who God is not happy with. His blessing is to give good things, to say good things, right? To the home, the pasture. In pastures green, he leadeth me. That's the pasture of the just. The just would mean that he is a lawful person. He is the one who is right before God. And so these are contentions, right? Opposites. So if we are right with God, we will have his blessing. If you turn away from God and walk away, don't expect anything from God. And that is what wisdom is being imparted to my son, as Solomon says. Surely God scorns the scornful, but gives grace to the humble. Scorns means to mock, right? God will mock, make mouths, mock. And mock who? Mock the one who mocks others, right? The mocker. But then a mocker would be one who talks a lot and who says a lot of things about himself, who lifts themselves up. And that would be the proud. And so God doesn't care about the proud. God gives grace. Now understand this word grace. Grace is hand. And this means favor. To the humble. See, grace doesn't go to anyone else. The word humble means the poor, right? The afflicted. It also means the weak. It also means the lowly, the needy. Poor, afflicted, and then of course the word humble. This would be the ones who are depressed, literally pressed down by situations, by people, and God takes care of them. And so in social justice, God expects his people to use wisdom to know how to take care of these people as well. Those whom God cares for, we should care for as well. The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the legacy of fools. Again, an A and an A prime. For the wise, for the fools. Who are the fools? Let's work backwards. The fools are the insolent, the people who is fat in the head, right? The people who are silly, the people who reject wisdom and knowledge. Well, their consequence will be dishonor, shame. Shame is actually dishonor, disgrace, reproach. All these are not good things. And then if those who reject God, that's where they are coming. They will inherit, right? They will inherit. The word behind, they will be, they will, well, I guess you could say that they will be lofty. They will lift up, shall be the things that one will magnify. I guess you could use that word. And so God magnifies the wise, but the magnification of the fools will be disgrace. So glory, shame. And so basically when we come to a close in chapter 3, I guess we can see that the rest of chapter 3 lifts up the story, the theme of wisdom, to be wise, to have insight, knowledge, intelligence, discretion. And all of this is life. And If you don't do any of these, you won't have grace. Grace is only for those who are afflicted. And so we too will have to help them as well, right? To take care of those who can't help themselves. But those who think that they can do everything by themselves, God doesn't care. And so with this, we come to the end of chapter 3.